Hello friends, welcome to the ASP.NET Core tutorial series. In this tutorial, we will discuss what is the AppSettings.json file in ASP.NET Core. In the previous tutorial, we have discussed our launch setting.json file in ASP.NET Core. So before proceeding with this tutorial, I recommend you please watch part 9 of this tutorial series. So let's understand what all are the significance comes for this AppSettings.json file in ASP.NET Core. So if you have worked with the previous version of ASP.NET application, then you have made to know the importance of web config file. In the previous version of ASP.NET application, we generally used to store the application configuration setting such as database connection string, any application scope, global variable, and many more configuration within the web config file. But in ASP.NET Core, the application configuration settings can come from different configuration, and what all are the configuration is like first is the files, and under this file like AppSettings.json file and AppSettings.environment.json file, and here environment is nothing but the application current hosting environment such as development, staging or production, and the next is user secret, environmental variable, command line argument, and even we can create this configuration source from our side, or we can say that custom configuration source. So let's understand first what is the AppSettings.json file. Let's go to the Visual Studio, and in this Visual Studio, when we come to this all the solution explorer, we can see AppSettings.json file, and when we look into this AppSettings.json file, we are looking here some things like logging things and allow host. We will discuss about this logging in the coming tutorial. So basically this AppSettings.json file contain key value pair, like these are the keys, and this key, the value is information. So what we will do to understand, I will add our own like key value pair here. So what I'm going to add my custom key, and here what I will do, I will assign some value to this one, and any value we can assign, like calling from app settings.json file, and this is the way like we have added the key, and according to this key we have assigned the value to this one. Now next what we will do, let's call this custom key, like how we read this value into the code side or from the application. So for reading this app setting, or what we can say the configuration data from the code side, let's what I will do here, let's add one constructor to this startup file, and for adding the constructor, let's add. So for adding the constructor, we have one shortcut CTOR. You just write and double tap. When you will do, it will automatically add the constructor to this one. Now next what we have to do, we have to inject one dependency injection, or we can say I configuration file. So let's write that I configuration. So I configuration. So let's close this one, and inside this constructor as a variable, let's take I configuration, and this I configuration is basically sit inside the namespace, and that namespace called configuration extension.configuration namespace. Let's take one variable of config, and like let's assign one local variable of that local variable of I configuration file. So let's assign that local variable, and let's take it as a config. Now inject this config constructor variable inside this local variable. So what we have done so far is like, first we have added a local variable, like the type of that local variable is I configuration variable, and this I configuration interface belong to Microsoft.extension.configuration namespace, and we have seen this namespace is here. So this bring this I configuration file. Now then what we have done, we have added a constructor, and this constructor dependency injection, like through this constructor dependency injection, we have injected the I configuration object and store it within the private local variable, and like it look like this. Now next thing is like how we read this app setting dot data inside this startup.cs file. So for reading that data, what we have to do, let's get rid of this code. And as we know, like this is a key value pair, so let's take this config and let's take it that value here. And when I will run this application, what output we will see? We will see the output as a calling from AppSetting.json file from browser. So we can see the data we are looking here. So let's close. So what we have done, we have added one key value pair under this AppSetting.json file, and then what we have done, we have injected the iConfiguration variable inside the local variable, and then through key value pair we have taken that value of this my custom key. So that is the next thing. Now let's see, under this file appsetting.json, we have another file called appsetting.environment.json file. So to addition of this appsetting.json file, let's go back, and when you will expand to this one, we can see appsetting.development.json file. So once you will go inside this file, we can see here also some configuration is here, and that for development environment here basically. What I will do, I will copy this stuff here and I will write it here, and here I will write as a development. So what it will do, it will override the code of appsetting.json from this appsetting.development.json. Now if I will run this application, what we will see this line of code on the browser. So once I will run this application, so we can see on the browser the output is calling from appsetting.development.json file. So what it is doing, it is like overriding the code of appsetting.json from this development.json file. Now the next thing is like user secret. Next configuration source is user secret. We will discuss about this user secret in the coming tutorial. So what it will do basically, it will override whatever is written inside this file like appsetting.json or appsetting.environment.json file. And the next configuration source is the environment.variable, and this environment.variable is basically exists on the local development or like for the development purpose only, and that file is basically launch setting.json file, which we have discussed in the previous tutorial. So what I will do, let's copy this my custom key from here and keep it inside this one. And why I'm keeping here, because we are running with the IIS Express, and this IIS Express command is inside this one. So I have written from here. Now let's get rid of this one, and what I will write here, I will write launch setting. And now if I will run this application, what it will do, it will override from the both the places, like from this my custom development and app setting. And what we will see on the browser, we will see from this like file launch setting.json. So we will see on the browser this line. So once I will run this application, what it will do, it will override all the code from both the files, and we can see the output. Even if I will get rid of this line of code from here, so again what we will see the same output whatever we are looking inside this launch setting.json file, because this is overriding the data from both the places. And the next thing is like after this environment variable, if we will take the configuration source as a command line argument, so what it will do, it will override whatever is here, like it will like command line argument code will override whatever we have written inside these files, user secret and environment variable. So let's see it within practical. So what I will do, I will copy this one from here, and what I will do here, let's like I have already in path of the like project, and here let's write .NET run, and let's take that key and assign some value to this one. And what I will write, I will write command line app setting dot json, and let's take it inside this double quotes and hit enter. So once I will hit enter, what it will give us the port number, and let's go to this any of them port. So what I will go to this port. So let's go to the browser and hit enter, and we can see like currently we are looking process name as a command line AppSetting.json file. So what it is doing, it is overriding the code whatever we have written inside this environment variable or files. So basically like all these things from where it is coming. So basically like when you will go into this program.cs file, and in this program.cs file, as we have discussed, that this is the main function. Like when we launch any application of the ASP.NET Core, it look for this main function, and from this main function we are calling this create host builder, and this create host builder is calling one static like this function called create host builder. And as we know, like ASP.NET Core is a open source, so we can see the code of this host in like we can see the code for the host. And for that, let's go to that link, and you can find this link in my description section. So under this link, when you will go, just search for this configure app configuration. So once you will go to that function, here you can see like what it is configuring. So here we can see, let's expand. So first it is calling for AppSetting.json, and then it is calling the environment, like whatever the development environment we are having. So whatever the environment is having, it is calling to that. And next what it is doing, it is adding the user secret, and after this user secret we can see it is calling add environment variable, and after that add environment variable we can see it is adding the add command line. So basically what it is doing, like whatever the here configuration they have done, like first it will show the data from app setting, then development, then it will show the data for the user secret, then environment, then command line. And similar to that, it is showing the data, and this is the way of configuration source in ASP.NET Core, and in that way it works. So basically as we have seen, to access the configuration information within the startup class, what we need to do, we have to use the iConfiguration service, and which is provided by ASP.NET Core framework. And basically like as we know, here in startup.cs file we have injected this dependency injection in local variable, and this dependency injection is provided by ASP.NET Core. But in the previous version of ASP.NET we don't have this dependency injection, and if we have to use the dependency injection in the previous version of ASP.NET, then we have to use the third-party tools. But in ASP.NET Core it support the dependency injection. So basically like in this tutorial we have seen the configuration sources whatever available in ASP.NET Core, and we have seen practically like how all these works, and we have discussed about this AppSetting.json file. So basically AppSetting.json file is a key value pair. So that's it for this tutorial. If you have any question and doubt, please comment. Thank you.